How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hello, Mr. Terry is back to terrific Terry Tuesday, and unfortunately a little bit of an echo. We were not echoing in the pre-show, but now we're echoing. You can say hello, Terry. I mean,
all right, I'll say hello. I was going to mute myself, but I'll say hello. I'm glad to be back. Look forward to seeing you guys. Well, I had a good time with you at Hawthorne. That was fun. Mm-hmm. And so other than that, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm okay. I'm back.
And a little bit of color. Terry's looking like he was out in the sun.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes, out there sunbathing, getting himself more handsome with those baby blues for this show, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
Indeed. That's what you had in mind, I'm sure, when you're out there. I want to look my best when I come back on Tuesday.
I did.
Speaking of looking their best, I mean, you got a good shot at trainer Tony Wilson's ear last night due to some technical problems. But when he was done listening to questions, a lot of very fun, entertaining answers from Mr. Wilson. And he said he actually entertained, Terry, your consideration to head on out to Golden Gate Fields.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that's true. He did. He said something about that. He said he'd like to get out to California, he said. So, it'd be fun if some of these guys come out here, help us out. So,
well, we're talking about putting together a handicapping contest because we feel like Matt Dinnerman, who was the first guest on all of the shows that we ever did way back about a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Matt Dinnerman, great friend of the show. We're going to see if maybe we can come out to California in the summertime, Terry, me, Charles, and others, and head out to Golden Gate and do a handicapping contest. We'll let you know. One of the things we want to see is if you want us in California, make sure you hit the social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, right down there below, and go ahead and tweet at us. Go to Golden Gate. Go to Golden Gate. Terry, I want you to promote that on every show from now on where you're in the comments. Not only should the trainers and the jockeys come to Golden Gate, but horse racing today should head out that way too.
That's right. Horse racing today should come out. And I'll look up and see. You see, there's some of the fair circuits going on during the summer. I'll look up and see when the schedules are for Golden Gate so we know just when to plan it
for sure. And then as far as tonight is concerned, we got Corey Lanieri on as our guest with Jamie and Sean. If you have any questions for Corey, any comments, Jamie and Sean, as long as they're not weirdo questions or comments, they go ahead out there and they put the questions and comments out to the folks that join us, and they're always willing to answer them. So it's a firsthand opportunity to speak to the people who make the sport go. You don't get that sort of interpersonal conversation pretty much in any other sport, Terry. You agree? All right. So today we're going to go back to Parx and see if we can clean up the mess that Charles and I made there yesterday. Terry, wasn't the best day for us at Parx. Kind of frustrating because a lot of times, a lot of the high Z zone scores were working, a lot of the overlays were working, and somehow Charles and I just managed to overlook them. Today, hopefully we don't make that same mistake, Terry. As always, we're going to start with race number 1. This is 1 mile, 70 yards. It's a claiming 7,500 non-winners of 3 lifetime. A mile and 70 yards does favor tactical speed. 30% of the horses go wire to wire. Very strong rail bias for Miss Chamita, perhaps to take advantage. I think that one scratched out though, right, Terry? And then post positions 2 through 7 are fair 8 and out. They do wear a little bit of a penalty. Our first look, here's all of our picks for today. Our first look at our simulations, 1,000 simulations using speed numbers to get a sense of which horse might offer better value. We also want to know who's going to be where at the quarter-mile marker. And then finally, the C-zone score to get a sense of which horses are likely to get trips that favor their favorite running style. Terry, take us through some of the data here.
Yeah, well, it looks like to me that 4 should get to that quarter pole first. He's got, or she's got lots of speed. And then as far as overlays go, the 5 has a little bit of an overlay. Goes from just over even money to morning line odds of 3-1. And then as far as the comfort zone, looks like most of these horses have pretty good comfort zone numbers. Only one that really doesn't is the 3 and a little bit 7.
Yeah, I look at the 4 horse here, Terry. Very likely to be up on the lead. Very strong comfort zone. Notice he's having a top pick there today. Not going to overlook that like we overlooked that yesterday, but let's see if indeed that's how it plays out in our pace setup. Yeah, here you have the E horse being the 4, the one that wants to be on the lead. That 6, Diane's Comet, is a could be a pilot or a co-pilot. The 2 horse popped the clutch. Oh, excuse me, the 2 horse, a bit bad in Bougie. It's a pressure type. I don't think it's going to be that close based upon recency bias. It does look like the 4, the 6, and the 7. That trio should be out there in the front. The 7 horse being a closer typically. So that would identify as a left arrow horse, a closer with enough early speed to move forward today. Speaking of late speed, it does look like the 5 horse Cinnamon Dream, that pressure closer type, the real versatile kind. That one has a 10-point advantage over everybody else. So if the 5 horse is second or third coming around the corner, heading for that finish line, going to be really hard to hold that one off. Also has the best combination of early speed and late speed. You can see there 9 points better than Advocate Harbor, then Pop the Clutch, and then Gone Dreaming. Terry, I've kind of tipped my hand a little bit, but what do you think about this spot?
Well, I like that 5. I think he's going to set, or she's going to set just behind the leaders and come from behind. And as far as why I like that horse, she won her last race, has the highest last speed rating, has a high percentage winning trainer, and she likes the distance today. Number 3, Pop the Clutch is my second pick. She drops in class today. She can improve while returning to a route and has a trainer who wins 21% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse. Then number 6, Diane's Comet, which is a horse that I really like in the past. She has finished a disappointing race last time, but has a good excuse that she came really wide in the stretch, and she has a high percentage winning trainer. And then the number 2 is my long shot, a bit bad Bouger. She drops in class and likes finishing second at Parx Racing. I'm going to play a pick 5. I'm going to use the 3-5-6 with the 7 as a single in the second race, and then the 1-2-6, and then in the fourth race, the 1-2, and I'm going to finish up with the 4-6.
I am going to go swinging for the fences. I wrote down in my notes that this race looks kind of open, especially with that 1 horse not in the mix. So I don't see any reason to settle for low odds. And that's probably what you're going to get with Cinnamon Dream, my second choice. But Gone Dreaming, as we see, has a really strong chance to be up on the lead. We saw that confirmed in the Weight of the Winner Circle worksheet, also with the recency bias. I think Gone Dreaming could be up on the front. High comfort zone wants to be on the front, so should be right where it wants to be. I don't like those 99-1 odds, so I'll be honest. If it goes off at 99-1 and wins, I'd be thrilled to death. Did run some better mid and late pace numbers last time out. So we know it has to giddy up and go. Looks like it's trying to find its late legs. Cinnamon Dream has the top numbers at the distance. There's no question about that. Strong C-zone score as well. And an overlay. The horse is probably the one to beat, especially as I mentioned, if it's anywhere near the front at the end, has that strong late pace advantage. Number 3, Pop the Clutch. This one at the distance, been out 2 times with a second and a third. It's also going to take a little bit of a class drop in here. And then finally, the 2 horse, a bit bad in Bouger. This horse is taking a small class drop, where most of the other ones have kind of tried to fight their way around at this level from a non-winners of 4 to non-winners of 3. So a little sneaky class drop in there for a bit bad in Bouger. I'm going to do a $1 exacta key box. Make sure I got that terminology right for you, Terry. With the 4, hope it finishes first or second. With the 2, 3, and 5, one of those 3 either beating it or finishing behind it. Hoping to cash a good ticket to get started. And then, of course, Melvin Torres is going to try to cash his pick 5, like always. 2, 3, 5, and 7. He's going to regret not having that 4. With the 6, 7, he's going to single up the 1 in race number 3, singling up the 2 in race number 4. So going a little bit of the that's where the pick 5 would probably be won or lost. And then the 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 in race number 5. And if, like Melvin, you have picks, you have questions, you have comments, anything you'd like to see us do, anything you'd like to see us explain, any guests you want to see on Horse Center, please use the comment section. Let us know. We look forward to having conversations while we're here. Race number 2, Mr. Terry, this time around, in the second race, they're going to run 6 furlongs, claiming 7,500 for 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up that have not won 2 races. So at 6 furlongs, tactical speed usually does the best. A good healthy 35% managed to take them from gate to wire. 1 through 7, those post positions are fair. 8 and out, a little bit of a benefit in that respect. In race number 2, we do see that we do not have any scratches on a day with the track is fast. Not so many scratches, Terry, but it sure looks like Jovial is going to be jovial up on front.
Yeah, you got that right. That 7's got so much speed, and it's also got a really good looking C-zone number. So, I've liked that horse a lot. And look at the overlay. It's supposed to be under even money, and it's listed on the
Like
morning
1 to
line.
5.
What? But yeah, just over one. Well, what, 1.5 to 1. So that all looks good. So he should have no problem getting to that quarter pole first.
And he also has the strongest C-zone score. I mean, big overlay. You're not going to get great odds on that 7 horse, I suspect.
No.
I don't think you'll see it go off at 8 to 5. It's listed in the morning line. I think you're probably more likely to see something in the line of 4 to 5, 3 to 5, maybe even as low as 2 to 5.
Yeah.
And it is the lone E horse over here. Wants to be the pilot, that's for sure. The 6 horse wants to play co-pilot. And then everybody else wants to close, and that 3 horse so far hasn't been close. Is the 7 going to get the lead? Well, according to our early pace figures, slight advantage over the 6 horse in there. Those 2 should duke it out, although you do see, minus the 1 horse Triple Americano, all of them are kind of within 5 to 10 points of one another, so it could be a little bit of competitiveness up front. As far as late speed is concerned, the 1 horse Triple Americano, the closer, does have the most late speed, but that 7 is right behind, but 8 points behind. The complete race picture does look like it favors the 7 Jovial. That 3 horse gets that never close designation where it's been no more than 5 lengths, no closer than 5 lengths in any of its contests to the winner. I've seen a lot of these no contest types that end up high in the rankings actually outperform their odds. Would not be shocked at all to see Heated Battle finish somewhere in the money, Terry. How do you rank this race?
All right. Well, I start out with Jovial, the 7. He ran second in his last race. His best start speed's fastest among today's starters, and he has the highest last race speed rating. So he marks a lot of boxes off. Number 6, Strawberry Cone, is my second choice, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And this combination in the last 14 days has won 3 out of 5 starts. He has a good workout on April 15th. Number 1, Triple Americano. He finished third in his last race, and he has the highest speed figure at today's distance. He's my third choice. And then the long shot for me is number 5, Where's the Passion? He had trouble in his last race, but has an excuse as he steadied right after the start. He likes being the bridesmaid, though, finishing second or third in 10 starts at Parx Racing. So he'd be a good one to use in the exotics.
I want to say thanks to Tom O'Malley for the thumbs up on Facebook. I know most folks join us on YouTube. If, like Tom O'Malley, you like what you see here, please give us a thumbs up on Facebook, on YouTube. It does help us with their algorithms a little bit. If you could also hit the like button and subscribe, that would also help us in terms of reaching our goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers this year. And then the more subscribers we get, the more kind of data and information that we're going to be able to bring forward. I'm going to start with Strawberry Cone, not my favorite ice cream at all. Terry, I prefer chocolate or vanilla, but in any case, it's interesting that this one is going a little bit shorter today. All of its previous 6 starts were at 7 furlongs. It's definitely, as we saw in the pace numbers, quick enough to be close to the front. It has a couple of real nice brisk maintenance work between races and a big pop in terms of its speed number. The only other time this horse made a second start without going back to the barn. Jovial, this one's going to be your heavy favorite. It is a money burner, however. It's been the favorite in the last 2 races, got beat in both of them. However, it did run the top last race. Speed figure, it does have an occasional race where it just really spikes up in terms of its performance. If today's a spike race because it's going to have that lead, it could be very much worth the 2 to 5 odds. Heated Battle, Sophia Vives won both of her mounts yesterday. Young lady is lighting it up. If you haven't seen it yet, you can, in our YouTube channel, just search for Sophia Vives. She was a guest on Horse Center. Definitely a young lady whose career is heading in the right direction. And if you listen to last night's show, Jamie mentioned she's only been riding horses for 2 years. Before that, she was riding tractors. Amazing, amazing development. Anyway, this one will be a bomb. But after the first two horses, the 6 and the 7, I don't really think there's a whole lot of difference separating the rest of the pack. So why not take the good odds in the hot rider? And then where's that passion, Terry? The only one that showed its early pace, mid pace, and late pace figures to be better in the last race. This one's been in the money 5 out of 8 at the distance. I'm going to do a pick 4. I know that 7's going to be the favorite. I really hope the 3 wins at a price, but I'm going to go 3, 6, 7. Single up the 1 in the next leg with the 1, 2, 4, with the 4, 6, and 7. And you're going to put $6 to win on that 7, huh?
Yeah, that's correct. I probably won't get a lot back, but a win's a win.
Like you say, where else can you double your money in a minute and a half? All right, Terry, we got 3 minutes to race number 1. So let's try to fly through race number 3. What do you say? Race 3, this one is going to be a mile and 70 yards. We're going back to that like we saw in the opener. Again, mile and 70 yards does tend to favor horses that have some tactical speed. 3 out of 10 win wire to wire. What's to blame could benefit from a strong rail bias. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out. Again, you get dinged. It's kind of harder to win out there. Not deal killers, but certainly makes it more difficult. Terry, it looks like there's plenty of speed in this one.
Yep, there is. The 3, 2, and 5 show quite a bit of speed, and you got a little bit of speed there with the 6 too. So who knows who's going to get there? Anybody's guess gets to the quarter pole first. As far as the overlays go, the 1 and the 5 have pretty good overlays. The 1's just under even the money simulated odds and listed at 3 to 1 in the morning line, and the 5 is just over 2 to 1, like 5 to 2 maybe, listed at 4 to 1 in the morning line. As far as the C zones, there's 2 horses that have pretty good C zones, the 6 and the 2. So there we go.
Looks like the 6 is going to be the most comfortable with its positioning early on. In our way to the winner's circle worksheet, does look like the 6 wants to lead. The 2 horse can pilot or co-pilot. The 3 horse wants to be the pilot, co-pilot. Everybody else is a passenger and coach. So in the early speed, at 6, well, I put it upside down. All right, so I was going to say that 6 horse looks like he could be in trouble, but no, it will be on the lead, and they should line up just like it shows. So everybody should be where they want to be in terms of their positioning. With the late speed, that's 7 horse. Woo! 17-point advantage over the next closest one. Although it looks like it could be pretty far back when the race gets started. In terms of the beginning to the end, this one looks pretty competitive. You got all but 2 horses that were within 10 points of one another, Terry. You like the 6 horse as your top choice.
I do. Yeah, I really like this 6 horse. I've won money on it in the past. He won last race at Parx Racing, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. I think I might get a little bit better odds than the race before. Number 1 is my second choice. What's to blame? Won his last race at Parx Racing. The rail post is winning at a 21% clip, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Number 3 is my third pick. He won his last race.
The 2 horse as your third pick.
That's what you're right. 2 is my third pick. He won his last race at Parx Racing, and he has a highest speed figure at today's distance. And then the long shot is 5, Excursion. He'll be closing to try to catch these leaders to win the race and has a high percentage winning jockey. I want to bet $6 to win on the number 6.
I'll come to my rationale in a moment. Race 1's just about ready to get going. That 5 horse is the even money favorite. My 4 horse, fingers crossed, 24 to 1, Terry. Let's see if he can do some upsetting to get started today. The next favorite, well, they're about ready to go. Jessica Paquette, ready to make her call as they're all, well, the 7 horse is still trying to find its way into the gates. According to our early speed, that 4 horse should get out to the lead. Let's see if indeed that's the case. Although all but the 2 horse do show some ability to be front runners. And the 4 horse did break cleanly, Terry, really sharply out to the front without really much asking from the jockey whatsoever at all. I think maybe he should get down to the rail and kind of try to slow it down a little bit because the horse is about a length ahead of the 6 horse, which is Diane's Comet. And then behind them, there's a 7, and the 6 and the 7 are bumping around a little bit with each other going through that first turn. So maybe making their task a little bit more difficult. The 3 horse right now riding in 4th, probably about 4 horses off. Then you have behind that, it looks to me like the 5 horse, Cinnamon Dream, and then behind the 5 horse all the way in the back, that 2 horse, A Bid, Bat, and Bourget. Through the opening quarter in 23 and 3, the 4 and the 6, they are your front runners. They're probably about 3-4 lengths in front of everybody else. Jockey standing straight up and down on that 6 horse, Terry. I feel like that 6 horse could be a problem 4 horse just gave up the lead, unfortunately, after going in 49-1, which is not even all that fast. Now we know why it's 24-1. So it doesn't look like he's going to hold up for second. Question is, who's going to end up winning this race? Right now, 6 horses on the lead. The 5 is moving, but not really closing a lot of ground on that horse just yet. As they come through the turn, it does look like Cinnamon Dream is making up a little bit of ground. You have that 7 horse Advocate Harbor coming up on the rail. It looks like to me it's moving the best right now on that rail, trying to save some ground. Down the stretch they come. The 6 horse maintains that lead, Terry. So your pick 5 is probably going to get off to a good start. 5 horse is trying to get up there, trying to get him to maybe switch leads, but hasn't done so yet. Looks like he's tiring, kind of drifting up the track. So it's all the 6 horse. Diane's comment. Terry said he won some money on it before. Going to do it again. Followed by the 5 horse, Cinnamon Dream, and then Advocate Harbor is your 3rd place horse. So my gamble on the 4 horse didn't work out there, Terry. Got the lead. I should have bet it to have the lead at the quarter-mile marker.
Yeah, that would have been good, huh? Yeah, I've bet this Diane's Comet 2 or 3 times in the past and has done pretty well. So
Melvin liked the 7 there, who did manage to finish second. So a third. So Advocate Harbor came home for 3rd place money. So the opening goes 6, and then the 5, and then the 7, the 3 outside horses. And again, just looking at these 2 horses had some pretty good opportunities. The 5 horse, a little bit of overlay. 6 horse, some higher odds. So interesting race in terms of that. Get to the front for the most part. Yesterday, we saw the horse that came out second, won a lot of races, and kind of starting that way again. In race number 3, we return, Terry, in the 3rd race. My pick, the 1 horse, What's to Blame, was a different horse in its first start for Jamie Ness. Let's see if he can repeat that performance. It's interesting to note that Ruben Silvera did ride the 5 and the 6 in their prior starts, and instead is on the 1 horse. And I think that probably has something to do more with Jamie Ness than the fact that he picked 1 over the others. Number 6, Wagon Boss, cutting a little bit of distance after going wire to wire at 1 1/16 with 2 consecutive speed figure increases in a row. Excursion, the 5 horse, coming off of a 7,500 non-winners of 1 win. So it's taken a small drop in class here, maybe, and has 3 consecutive speed figure increases. And then finally, the 2 horse Petulant Delight probably should be rated higher, Terry, but the pair of works are okay and finished well behind both What's to Blame and Wagon Boss in races where they met up. So if it hadn't beaten them then and finished way behind, I didn't see anything in the works to suggest it can make up all of those lengths. Trifecta 1, 5, 6 with the 1, 6 with the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 for me. Race 4 is our next attempt to get it right. And in the 4th race, they're going to run 6 furlongs again. Tactical speed 1 through 7, play fair, 8 and out, a little bit of a penalty. In the 4th race, Terry, we're taking a look at what the early speed looks like, and it looks like the 4 might get the lead again. Maybe that one can hold on. You with me?
Yeah, I'm right here. I have to. I forget to unmute myself sometimes. Anyway, the 4, yeah, looks like it's got.
I wish Charles would forget to unmute himself sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, the 4 should get to the quarter post first if it gets a good break and it has no trouble. As far as the overlays go, the 1's got a small overlay from 2-1 on simulated odds to 3-1 on the morning line. 4 is pretty good overlay. Supposed to be like, what's that, 7-2 or 5-2, and listed at 5-1. And then if you look at the 5 there, that's a really good overlay. You go from 5-2 to like 8-1. And then as far as the C zones, look at the 2 and the 6. They have identical C zones. And then the 4 comes up there with a pretty good one too.
Yeah, the 4 horse here got that chance to get speed, does have a good C zone and an overlay. Again, we've seen that combination work out in the past. Let's see if it can work today. In this setup, you have a trio. It's a pretty balanced race, but 3 of them want to be on the lead, the 1, the 2, and the 4. Of that, in the most recent, it does look like the 2 horse, but the 1, 2, and 4 should be the 3 out there on the front. Again, very competitive. You see all but the 3 and the 7. The 2 closers have early speed numbers within 5 points of each other. So from nose to tail, from the leading horses might be no more than a length, which should favor the horse then that has some late speed. Of those speed horses, the 1 and the 4 tie out with the most late speed. So perhaps those two could be on the front, go 1-2 all the way around the track, because we do see that's how they rank in terms of the complete picture, Terry. So 1-4 on the front, probably going to have the ability to stay there. How do you put together your picks?
All right. Well, I like in this race the 2, Barandi. She drops in class today and has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Number 1, Random Luck, is my second choice. She ran second in her last race and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then number 6, Angel of the Galaxy, was my third choice. Won her last race at Parx Racing. She earned the highest last race speed rating. And then my long shot is number 4, Vanishing Faith. You know, she ran third in her last race, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And I'm not going to make a bet in this race. I'm going to save my money for later on.
So when I was looking through this race, Terry, I had a real hard time. And, you know, I went through all the data, all the different handicapping angles, and just really couldn't come up with anything. So then I just started jotting down their 6 furlong times, and then just looking at them. The 2 horse, although it's going to be the favorite, and I do think favorites are vulnerable here, the time says that this one, if you just look at the 6 furlong times, if it runs, to its best or even close to its best, could beat most of this field by 5 lengths or more. The 4 horse is the only other one to have anywhere in there a 6 furlong time that was comparable to the 2 horse. If this one's on the lead, does have that strong overlay and the C-zone score, and does look like it gains confidence when it's up front. Finally, number 3, Random Luck, is my third pick. If the 4 doesn't run to her potential, this one had better pace numbers throughout the entire race last time. And it's going to drop in class here today. And then finally, the 5 horse, Nana's Bupa, whatever. Have we ever found out what a Bupa is, Terry? But anyway, Nana's Bupa was a tough call for me over the 6, but I'm going to go ahead and trust the C-zone score and the overlay combination. Again, that's worked out well for us in the past. And I'm going to do a pick 4. I think the 2 and the 4 horse are the ones to beat in here based upon their fractions. Maybe the 1 horse sneaks in and shocks me. 4, 6, 7, and then 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to single the 4 on the back end of that in race number 7. I think that's correct. Next up for us is race number 5 as we continue. You got a couple of scratches in the 5th race. This one is a mile and a 16th on the main track, which does have a tactical speed bent. Don't necessarily need to be on the lead. Probably better off being 3rd, maybe 4th at the opening quarter-mile marker. And then from there, as far as the post positions are concerned, there is an inside 3 bias. 4 through 7 play way under par. I guess they maybe get squeezed at that start right there. They go into that first term. 8 and out gets a really big bonus. It is good to note, though, that 8 out of the 20 at this distance did go wire to wire. So if wire to wire is the way, Terry, it looks like Dadashev is the one that has the best shot to make that happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's got a lot of speed, but that 5 might give it a little bit of problem. As far as the overlays go, the 4 has a small overlay going from 5 to 2 to like 7 to 2. And the 7 has a pretty nice overlay. It's going from like almost 6 to 1 on the simulated odds to 12 to 1 on the morning line. As far as the comfort zones, if you look here, you see that you got the 2, the 4, and the 7 who've got pretty good comfort zone numbers. So
yeah, real nice numbers in there with the 2, the 4, and the 7. In race number 5, we do see that there really isn't a true front runner up in here, not one that's shown that it wants to be on the lead, or even, you got a bunch of co-pilots here at the 2, 4, 5, and 8. So let's see which one of those might decide to take control today. Again, it does look like the 8 horse, just like the simulator said, is it the most likely, and the 5, although the 7 should not be all that far behind. That trio is a pretty good advantage over the next. So I think you could see this race break up. 3 in the front, 3 chasing. As far as those when they chase coming home, true to Coden and Commissioner Dave, those 2 have the most late speed and a pretty good advantage over Cape Hedge. And then finally, our beginning to end measurement. Again, the 6, the 7, and the 8, those 3 outside horses, they look like they are more than a touch better than everybody else. Mr. Terry, do you agree?
I like the 6 horse. I think this closer is going to make it, even though the speed's been holding up, it appears, there at Parx, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays. But he ran second versus similar in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer, and the distance will not be a problem. Cape Hedge, number 4, is my second pick. Ran second versus similar in his last race. Has finished in the money in 3 out of 6 races at Parx, and he's won at today's distance. Won 2 of them. Commissioner Dave, number 2, is my third pick. He has a high speed figure at today's distance. Then I like the 7 Black Mamba. He has a high percentage winning jockey, and he's returning to a route. This should help. No bet for me in this race again.
In the 5th, for me, I'm going to start off with true to code, and like you, 4 consecutive speed figure increases, just missed last time out, and did so running similar fractions at 7 furlongs as it did at 6.5. I don't know if the stretching out here really helps or not. 4 Cape Hedge ran better fractions at 1 mile and a 16th last time out than it did at 1 mile and 70 yards. 3 consecutive speed figure increases in a row, and has done okay at the distance, proven it can win at 1 mile and a 16th with 2 wins in 6 starts and a second in there. D Black Mamba, top C zone and overlay. This one should be more forwardly placed, as we saw in our pace scenarios. And then finally, Dadashev. This one could be on the lead and then try to hang on late, which I think it could. And it gets a really good shot to get the lead. Not that bad of a C-zone score. On the front, I think maybe just fades at the end. 4, 6, 7, or the 4, 6, or the 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We rewind just quickly back to race number 4. Our good friend Christopher D'Souza says he likes the 6 to win race number 4. And in race number 5, where we just finished, he likes the 7 horse with the 8 and 6 on the late pace. So he likes the 7 to win with the 86 on the late pace. Yeah, so I think that one's going to come on at the end. And then as far as Sadat is concerned, I imagine that in Turkey, you folks have a pick 6 that you want to do. We normally do this at the end of the show. So go ahead real quick, Sadat, screenshot that. So you have all of our picks from races 2 through 7. There you go. I'm going to count to 3 so you can screenshot it. And then we're going to move on to the next race 6. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you've screenshotted it. All right, Terry, we're going to move on to race number 6 now. And at that one, the horses are going to try their luck at 1 mile and 70 yards again. So we just saw at 1 mile and 70 yards in the opener that Tactical Speed, the horse was second, went on to win. Did see some horses try to close, kind of struggle at the end a little bit there again. So Speed has held up in these longer races. 30% go wire to wire. Again, strong rail, codependent, but I think that one's scratched out, Terry, so we don't have to worry about codependent. That means a 2-horse. Dr. Doom gets the somewhat close to the rail. 2 through 7 play fair, 8 and out. There's a penalty. As we mentioned, codependent is scratched. Forgot to mark that one out, Terry. So go ahead and tell us about the early race and some of our best value horses.
All right. Well, listen, in this race here, I like the numbers. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to go back and talk about the race first.
Mm-hmm.
There's speed in here, as you can see, but the 5 shows the most speed. He should make it to the quarter pole first. Mm-hmm. And then the 4 and the 5 both have a little bit of overlay. The 4 has a really nice big one, and the 5 has a small overlay. So as far as comfort zone goes, there's 2 horses that got pretty good ones, the 2 and the 5, large.
Yeah, indeed. It looks like on the speed zone here on our speed, pretty much every one of them has an opportunity to get to the lead, just a stronger chance maybe for large to do so. The 4 and the 5 want to be on the lead, Moondog and Large. This one does look like they have a good shot to be on the lead. 4 does have a little bit of more early pace than the 3 horse. And then Large is right there in the mix as well. Late pace belongs to the 6 horse, Good Culture, 3 points better. The Tycoon, kind of a little bit of a fall off there. As far as the race from beginning to end, connecting the front to the back, Moondog, a little bit of an advantage over Good Culture and Dr. Doom. The only one that looks like it's maybe a little bit out of its league is the 3 horse, that only closer there, especially since it doesn't have is the weakest closing numbers. Probably just put it in the winner's circle, Terry. Do you think it's got a shot?
All right. Well, let me tell you what I think. I think that the 6 is going to do this. Good Culture. He has been the bridesmaid in the last 3 races, and he finally is going to get married today.
Oh, I think he might have been better off before.
Yeah. He earned the highest
of course, not really. Go ahead.
He earned the highest last speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Now, that number 4 Moondog might have something to say about it. He finished 5th in his last race after going against the Allowance Company as the favorite, but has a trainer who wins 23% of the races when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again, and he has the highest speed favorite today's distance. And the third pick is number 2, Dr. Doom, and he might be doomed for the 2 horses above him that I mentioned. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer who in the last 14 days has a record of 6 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and this distance will not be a problem for Dr. Doom. I like as a long shot number 5, Large. He switches to a high percentage winning jockey and can improve while returning to a route. I'm going to play a pick 5. I'm going to use the 2-4-6 with the 4-5-6. I'm going to single the 1 and the 8th. Then I'm going to use the 2-3-4-6-7 and the 9th and come through at the 10th with the 9 and the 10th.
Dr. Doom. Who's Dr. Doom in the stock market? I know that when you Google it real quick, it says Nouriel Rubini, but there's another one out there. I forget his name, an older guy that they used to call Dr. Doom too.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Doom does expect there to be doom in the economy. Nouriel saying there's a recession coming and a big one. But before that, make your money on good culture. Here, that 6 horse at Parx, as you mentioned, Terry loves to finish second 5 times in 8 races. Did manage to squeeze a win in there somewhere. Did explode late last time with a very strong late performance, which resulted in the top last race speed figure. And this one is a very consistent high-end performer. You're going to have to beat it. It's not just going to give it up. We won't lay down. Moondog probably ran too fast. I mean, I did run too fast last time out. Kind of faded a little bit at the end. It's been regressing. So I think you're going to see a horse after that really stiff early pace. Should be good form today. So I'm going to be surprised to see it pop back up today for a nice rebound. 5, Large. Strongest C-zone. Could be on the front. Catching a little tiny overlay at a good price. I'll take that. See if maybe it can fatten up our trifecta. Maybe steal a W for us. And then Dr. Doom. Stepping up in class. Early times at 1 mile and 70 yards last time out were on par with what it ran at 6.5 furlongs in the previous start. Again, Craig Milkowski from Timeform US said, look at those 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. If they've improved, it is usually a sign of a horse that is rounding into form. Trifecta 4, 5, 6 with the 4, 6 with the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 from me. I think that's everybody in that race, right? After the one scratched out. Hopefully the longest shot on the board can take home the win there. Race number 7 is our next stop. The 7th race at Parx in this 10 race card. 7 furlongs. I think it's the only 7 furlong race today after a bunch of them yesterday. Like the 3-5 box, 5 to win in race number 6 for Christopher D'Souza. Again, if you like anything else in here too, don't let Christopher, Terry, and our good friend Melvin do all the heavy lifting. Throw some ideas out there. Let us know what you like as well. In the 7th race at 7 furlongs, you're looking at a horse that typically gets to the front, that does okay. Early speed, wins 36% of the time. It takes the lead, never sees the backside of another horse. They have a very strong inside 3 advantage, and then 4 and out. They have a little bit more difficult time finding the winner's circle. Terry, with early speed playing a role in race number 7, the 9 horse is out, but it looks like there's plenty of speed on the inside.
That's right. There's lots of speed on that inside. Compared to the other horses, and they do have the advantage of being in the inside. As far as the overlays go, the 2 is a really pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be 7-2, simulated odds at 6-1 on the morning line, and the 4 is just about 2-1, and it's got a nice 5-1 on the morning line. So as far as the C-zones, most of these horses have pretty good looking C-zone numbers, except for the 3 and the 10.
I love Charlie Brown. Does have the strongest one there. A little bit of an overlay there, or underlay, depending upon how you look at the odds. So maybe the best combination there belongs to the 2, Empire Score. A little bit of overlay. Does look like it has a shot to be up towards the front, and the second strongest C-zone score. So maybe that 2 horse throws in a little bit of a shocker. As far as the pace is concerned, looking at the 7th race, that's where we are right now, race number 7. You got either a bunch of speed horses that want to be on the lead or a bunch of closers. So it's going to be key as to who gets the lead. That's going to be a Distract and Attack or Empire Score, the 2 horse. Those 2 look like they have a little bit of advantage over the rest of the field. Hibachi a closer. So a left arrow horse, one that typically closes with an opportunity to be closer to the front than usual. As far as the late pace is concerned, at 10 horse, the 7 horse and the 8 have the most, but it is pretty competitive. Nobody's out of the mix in terms of late speed. 4 horse, Distract and Attack, Hibachi, and Empire Score. That trio stands a little bit above the rest in terms of its full race ability. Terry, when the full race is done, who gets the big W check?
The number 4, Distract and Attack's going to get this one. He finished third versus Tupper in his last race, has a high percentage winning jockey, and he has the highest speed last speed rating. Hibachi, number 6, is the next one. He ran second versus similar in his last race. His best start speed's fastest among today's starters. Number 5, I love Charlie Brown, and I do love Charlie Brown.
Who doesn't like Charlie Brown? I mean,
I know.
There's got to be something wrong with you if you don't like Charlie Brown.
That's right. Well, this Charlie Brown drops in class today, switches to high percentage winning trainer, and this shorter distance should be a good help for him. And then I like number 1, Assad. As my long shot, drops in class today. The rail post is winning at a 21% clip. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and the shorter distance will help him. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 4, 5, 6. I'm going to single the 1 in the 8th. Then I'm going to use the 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, the 9th, and I'm going to finish up with the 9, 10 in the last race.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you singled in went low in that last end because you're out of money, Mr. Terry, because that last race I felt like just about anybody could win.
Yes.
In the 7th spot, Distract and Attack. We start with the first 2 again. So we're probably not going to get the best odds on that 4 horse, Distract and Attack. Is a class dropper. Just missed at claiming 7,500. Non-winners of 1 in a year. This time around, what's the horse running at? It's running at 5,000 non-winners of 1 in a year. So definitely taking a little bit of a class drop there. At the higher level, ran the top last race. Speed figure. Did run better fractions at 7 furlongs versus 6 furlongs. A lot of reasons to like this horse. Hibachi does have some of the best Parx numbers for this crew. Its race internals last time were all better than the prior start. I think this one is likely to continue moving forward in performance here today. That 2 horse, Empire Score, has the best combination of early speed, C-zone, and overlay. So we'll give that one a shot to perform as well today. And finally, Ashad, it's a really good chance to be on the lead with the chance to get a very good trip. The rail hits at, I think, about 21%. And then you get a horse that's dropping in class as well. 50-cent pick 4 for me. The 2, 4, 6, probably going to regret leaving the 1 off of there. With the 1, 2, 6, with the 2, 7, and then the 5, the 7, the 9, and the 10. And again, I wish I could have added the 8 and 11 in there too. We'll get to that in a little bit in race number 10. Off to race number 8. A couple of more races till we get to the 10th race there. This one's an allowance, 8,000, 6 furlongs, profile of a winner. Tactical speed is the way to go when you also want post positions 1 through 7. Play fair, a little bit of a ding, 8 and out, Terry, in that regard. In the 8th race, we got a little bit of a scratch right here in Beverly Park, the 4 horse, one that you probably had in your picks there, Terry. But without Beverly Park, it doesn't really alter the early race. It looks like those first 2 are going to be the ones that everybody else has to catch.
Yeah, and I was disappointed Beverly Park got scratched for several reasons.
Honey Bunny.
That's right. Honey Bunny's name. I've played this horse before. It looked really good in this race. It was my single in this race. But that 1 horse looks really good too. As far as the
that one's named after you. So like this was the Terry and Honey Bunny race. He's incredible. Right. And Beverly Park. I mean, this one is you guys should sit on the couch and hold hands and watch that one.
We should, and we do that a lot. So anyway, these 2 horses, the 1 and the 2, they're going to go head and head to that quarter pole. I think it just depends on who gets the best break. And I'm hoping they don't run themselves into the ground since I like them first and second. And then if you look at the overlay on that 1, that's a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be less than even money, and it's 2-1 on the morning line. And then the number 5 horse, he's supposed to be like 5-2, and he's 4-1 on the morning line. Mm-hmm. As far as the C-zones, look, they all have great C-zone numbers except for the 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that 3 horse is the one we talked about, kind of maybe being a little off the pace there. Let's see what the race shape does look like in the 8th spot here. You got everybody wants to be on the lead here. That's in this race. The 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, 4 to 5 horses with the early speed racing style. Of those, you can see right there, they're all within 4 of each other, so they'll be competing for the early lead. The one horse has the most late speed, so that might be the one that had, and it's an EP type, so it can pilot or co-pilot. I suspect the one's going to let the 2, the 3, and the 5 kind of duke it out on front, depending upon fractions, probably sit 3rd, 4th, maybe right off the lead, then try to use the most late pace to run by the early speed. 5 horse, Hushin, that one also up front has some late legs. As far as the beginning to the middle to the end, he's incredible, does have a 8-point advantage. Not quite incredible, but pretty good. And that one's probably why both of us have that one on the top.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this horse is going to lay just off the front runners and get him at the end there. He's won 10 out of 21 races at Parx Racing, so he really likes this track. Has a high percentage winning trainer. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Number 2, Big Brown Shoes, is my second choice. He is another entry that has won 2 races in a row at Parx Racing, and now is going for a hat trick, and the distance is something he can handle. Number 5 is my third pick. He ran second versus Tougher in his last race, drops in class today, and has the highest speed figure at today's distance. As my long shot, number 3, Lazaredo.
Yeah,
he won.
right.
Yeah, he won his last race at Parx Racing and has a high percentage winning jockey. I'm going to bet $10 to win on the one horse.
Lazaredo sounds like a town. It should be like out by you in California somewhere.
It does.
Yeah, it does have that California sounding name. I'm going to go with He's Incredible as my top pick here. Breaks sharply, so he's going to get out towards the lead. Gets the lead, typically has a very strong mid move to go along with it. Ran the top last race speed figure. As long as the horse doesn't get burnt out, like you said, it's got a good shot. The 6 horse for me, Terry, is going to get that second spot. Silvestre Gonzalez and trainer Lee Hamlin, they don't really team up that much. They've run together 6 times. They've won 5 of those 6, Terry. So it sounds like Lee calls Silvestre when his horse is ready to win. And the horse has 2 workouts between races. Number 2, Big Brown Shoes, 4 consecutive speed figure increases and ran stronger fractions at 7 furlongs than it did at 6 furlongs in the prior start. And then finally, that 5 horse, Hushian, was a tough call for me over the 3 horse, but has higher spikes and is a little bit of an overlay as well. I'm going to do it exact the box. I'm going to see if maybe that 6 horse, that Silvestre Brown and Lee Hallam combination can continue to. So $1 exact key box, the 1, 2, and the 6, and hope it goes 6-2 because that would be, well, not really. I singled up the 1 somewhere in my picks. Race number 2 is about to get going. In race number 2, the 7 horse is the 4 to 5 favorite. The 6 horse in here is the next favorite at 8 to 5. And going with a shot again with that 3 horse, Terry, is 23 to 1. Next up, the 1 horse is 6 to 1. So you got the 1, the 6, and the 7. They're all under 10 to 1. Everybody else is over 10 to 1.
Yeah, and they had a late scratch of the 4. So
Ducky Goose decided to go play Ducky Goose. In race number 8, Christopher D'Souza says that 1 horse is going to win. In race number 10, in race number 7. It's the one that Christopher likes in race number 7. And then let's see how race number 2 plays out here, Terry. And they're off. According to our C-Zone score, the 7 horse was going to get the lead. And guess who's got the lead, Terry? The 7, pretty comfortably, too, it looks like. It does look like the other horses are trying to push up on him a little bit. The 2 horse in there, we got a guy. Yeah, we got a guy. You know what that's all about. We have a lot of that talk around here in Chicago. That one second. Third, outside, you got the 6 horse, Strawberry Cone, rating nicely off of the 3 horse, trying to maybe make up a little bit of ground. The 5 horse is in 4th. It looks like the 2 and the 5 are giving up ground. The 7 horse right now has a lead. It looks like it's between the 7 and the 6 for your win. Right now, the 7 is running a little bit better than the 6. The 6, the jockey's asking for some out of that gray. So far, not responding probably as well as he hoped. So the 7 horse is going to look like it's going to run away with this one, Terry. It's going to go 7. And then it looks like the 6 horse, the 7's just really pulling away. And surprisingly, he went off only at 4 to 5, Terry. That's, I think, some pretty good odds considering.
It is, yeah. I figured he'd be like 2 to 5.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to try to beat him. That's why I put the 6 on top. 7, 6, and then looks like 2, 5, and then that 3 did finish dead last. So the 2 horses that we thought were the best, and you had $6 to win on them, Terry. And that should put you through to race number 3 and your pick 5, right?
It does.
Yes, you singled
it
that
does.
7. Beautiful. All right. So
It
Terry's
did.
alive in the pick 5, and hopefully it can continue on. I kind of surprised it went off that low. If I would have known he was going to go 4 to 5, Terry, I probably would have left him on top of my picks. Race el número uno. Nueve. What kind of Spanish am I speaking? Forgive me, please. It's 1 mile, 70 yards. We've seen a bunch of those today. It does look like early speed is what's working at the track. It does work at 1 mile and 70 yards. In fact, 30% of the time, they go gate to wire. Again, strong rail. So Irish Honor with a shot to improve its luck and its fortune because of that post position. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out could have a little bit more of a difficult time. In the 9th race, Terry, for one of the last 2 times, the 3-horse Hoopla going to be fast.
That's right. He's going to break out of that gate like a cannonball. Just shoot down there to that first turn and make it like a firecracker or fire rocket, whatever you want to call it. Anyway,
Going to be something. We're going to be out there in the front.
He's going to be something. Yeah, he should go all the way to be the first to the finished to the quarter pole. Then the 3 has a pretty good overlay too. He's supposed to be a little bit over even money, and he's listed at 7-2 on the morning line. The 5 is a really good overlay. He's supposed to be like 5-2, and he's listed at 15-1 on the morning line. As far as the C zones, you can see here that they almost all have good C zones.
Except for Hoopla. Apparently Hoopla doesn't want to be on the lead. That maybe it fades a little bit at the end of the race. It's tough to say. In the 9th race, the 3-horse is absolutely the one that looks like it wants to be on the lead as the lone E-horse. You got a co-pilot type in the 6-horse. Our early speed recency numbers say, yes, indeed, the 3-horse Hoopla is the one that they're going to have to run down at some point. Although, not many, 10 points between that and except for Roan Mountain. So they could have a little bit of competition. Late pace-wise, the 4-horse Kobe B going to get the job done late with Breast World. Again, very competitive in terms of late pace as well for all these horses. Our complete picture does look like it favors Hoopla and Kobe B, the 3 and the 4. Those 2, a little bit of advantage over everybody else in this race, Terry. I do think this one has a chance to set up to be a bit on the quick side, which maybe could favor some closers in here. But what do you see?
Yeah, I think this is really a wide open race. I like the 7 Candy for Carmel. He's won his last 3 races in a row, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Hoopla, the 3, that speed burner, he's finished in the money in 5 out of the last 6 races at Park Racing, winning one of those, has a high percentage winning trainer, and can improve at this shorter distance. He's my 2nd pick. Brett's World, 6-horse, my 3rd pick, finished, he has his best start speed as among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, and that combination in the last 14 days finished in the money in 5 out of 10 starts, winning 3 of those starts. My long shot is the 2 Roan Mountain. Ran 2nd versus Simmer in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with another horse. I have no money left, so there is no bet for me in this race.
Well, hopefully you make a lot of money till you get here so that you can be counting it while I'm hoping to hit some winners here. Candy for Caramel, unbeaten in 3 at Parx, all of which were at today's distance, and none of them were particularly close after shipping in from Southern California. The horse is dropping in class off of its last win, but it's not in for a price. In some ways, that makes you say, yes, this is an absolute, but in other ways, it's kind of suspicious that it's dropping and not trying to run for more money. But I guess maybe the trainer is looking for a check here, another one. I'm going to slide that Roan Mountain all the way up to 2nd there, Terry. Does have the top Parx numbers, and it's by a pretty wide margin, not close. If it runs to its Parx ability, can be your winner. It's going to be rolling at the end of this race with some strong late pace. It did, as you mentioned, run the best speed figure in the last start. Hoopla, going to be your pace setter, Terry, but tends to fade at the end of races. Cutting back from a little bit from 1 mile and 16 to 1 mile and 70 yards could help it stay up front a little bit longer. Then finally, Kobe B, that 4-horse. Last time was the first up after a little bit of time in the barn. Looking at its resume, the 2nd race usually looks a lot like the first race, maybe a touch better in round 2 off the bench. Trifecta for me, the 2-7 with the 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 with the 2, 3, and 7. Again, this race looks really wide open. That's why I stuck a lot more horses in the middle than my normal 3, 2 or 2, 3, and then 5, formations. Finally, the last race of the day is the 10th spot at Parx. They're going to go 6 furlongs, tactical speed, 1 through 7 fair, out, 8 and out, a little bit of punishment for the horses. In the final spot, Terry, as it looks like a lot of these horses, all but the 11 horse looks like has a shot, some chance, 11 or the 6 has some chance to go to the front.
That's right. They all have some speed here. It looks like it's anyone's guess who really gets there. Although like you said, the 5 and that 7 look like they have the most speed. As far as the overlays go, the only one I see there really is the 11 horse. He's supposed to be less or a little bit over even money, and he looks like he's like 6-1 on the morning line. And several of these horses have pretty good C-zone numbers.
Yeah, this race is wide open, Terry, I feel like. And I think we're probably going to get a reflection of that as we look at the race shape. Christopher D'Souza in the 9th race, he likes the 1 to win. Melvin Torres putting together his second pick 5, the late Philly 5 in 2-4-6 with the 6, with the 2-5-6, with the 1-3-6, with the 3, 9, and 11. That starts in what? Race number 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So race 6, 2-4-6, race 7 to 6, race 8 to 2, 5, and 6, race 9 to 1, 3, and 6. And in this one, the 3, the 9, and the 11. So he's got a speed type. He's got a pilot, co-pilot type. And then he's got the closing type over here at the 11. Early speed looks like it does favor that 3-horse Dalton. But again, look at all that green there, Terry. Plenty of company up on the front. That means the horse that has the most late speed of the early types could be the one to beat. The 9, again, pretty competitive in here in terms of late speed. And then as far as the complete picture is concerned, 7 horse has a little bit of advantage, but you come down to here, everyone really has a shot. There's a pretty good tight race here, Terry. I think this one is wide open, really wide open. Very difficult for me to settle on 4 horses. What were the 4 that you picked?
Yeah, it's a very wide open race, and I would have liked to have had more of a budget so that I could finish up with more than just 2 horses in my pick 5, pick 4. But anyway, I like the 10 Portal 1. He has finished in the money in 57% of his races at Parx Racing. He's won 43% of those races and has done well at today's distance. He finished 69% of the races at today's distance, and he's won 38% of those. And he drops in class today. So we're hoping that he'll get there. And if he doesn't, then I hope the 9 put down the glass or put
the glass down.
Yeah. He finished second in his last race, only losing by a nose, has a high percentage winning trainer, has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fastest among the starters. Number 8, Lover Boy Lou, is my 3rd pick. Won his last race at Parx Racing, has a high percentage winning trainer. And the Big Bluff is my long shot, the 11. He ran second versus Tupper in his last race. So he drops in class today, and he has the highest speed figure at today's distance. I have no more budget, so I can't bet anything else.
Probably not a bad idea in this race to kind of sit on the sidelines unless you really feel like you have something. The 7 horse, for me, Little Harbor, is my top choice. Looks like the odds are about fair. Good shot to be close to the front. Decent C-zone score, but it's running at the lowest level it's run in its last 10 races. This one is the 3rd start after a layoff. And the last one really didn't count. If you read the comment, it said very bad start and lost any chance. So maybe we can get some value on a horse that's been running against tougher. Put the glass down. Its in-race numbers were better from beginning to the middle of the end last time out. And Paco Lopez is riding in this one today. And what's interesting about that is it's his only mount on the day after a full card yesterday before he travels back down to Florida for Tampa tomorrow and Gulfstream after that. So you know that Paco is going to be as aggressive as can be to get the W on Put the Glass Down. I'm a Pharaoh, the 5 horse. Last race looks bad if you look at the final position, but if you dig a little deeper, look at the fractions were actually similar to the prior start where the horse went on to win. And then number 10, Portal 1. Again, I thought this race was pretty wide open. I was looking at the 8 and the 11, all of these horses together. I settled on Portal 1 over the 8 and the 11 because he won the last 4 times he ran anywhere near this level. Trifecta for me, 7, 9 with the whole ball of wax in the middle, the 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Probably going to wish I put the 11 in there too. with the 5, 7, and 9 and third. That wraps up all of our picks. Again, here are the full card picks for today, Terry, for Parx. Any thoughts today? Any final thoughts about this card?
Yeah, well, about the card, I actually like this card today. I think there's going to be some good winners out of here, and I think if you're going to play some like the pick six, if they followed my lead in that second race, I guess that's where the pick six start, isn't it? Second race, then they could single the 7. Anyway, but other than that, if you like what you saw today, you should go to YouTube and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get notified whenever any of our shows come on, because we have shows all the time. And not only are we have regular shows, but we also add shows like we did at Hawthorne last Thursday. Also, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And we're at the horse race number 2 day. Go ahead and give us a likes or thumbs up. Let everybody you know about us, and get them to take a look. And we'd like to get to 10,000 subscribers this year. So if you'll subscribe to YouTube, we'd really appreciate it.
And maybe some of the things that can help that is next week, of course, we'll start prepping for the Kentucky Derby. Probably next Thursday, we'll get together in the evening for a Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks double analysis. So make sure you keep in tune with us, as Terry mentioned, by following us on our social sites today. If you like to do some betting at Thistle Downs, it is the free track at Horse Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link down in the description below. Of course, we put together a great package for the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont Stakes, and the Breeders' Cup, the 4 biggest days of racing together in one package, half price. So make sure you click on that link down below and then go ahead and take advantage of that half price deal for all of those wagering guides, all of our picks on those days. The one thing I always like to say, Terry, is, it's impossible to be perfect when you're betting horses, but there's no excuse for not being prepared. You will 1,000% be prepared for all of those big races by taking advantage of our wagering guides.
That's right.
Also, if you're going to bet baseball, I know it's in full season, make sure you click in the link down below for picks from the Professor Sides, or actual statistics professor, putting his knowledge to work to help find some value in baseball games. And of course, once you win all the money on baseball and horse racing and everything else that we do, there is winning touches in the link below. Get yourself some great horse racing gear. You can get our t-shirts on the Horse Racing Today site as well, horseracingtoday.net. That wraps it up. High five, Kentucky Derby and Oaks would be appreciated. Thank you. Yes, we're going to go ahead and give that a crack, Janet, on Thursday night to see what it looks like with all of our data and those sorts of things. Gracias. De nada, Carlos Luis Berrientos. I hope I got the pronunciation correct on that one. All right, Terry, that takes us wire to wire. You're back on vacation again tomorrow as Charles comes back in for Keeneland for the next 2 days. And I think Keeneland closes down after that, and they'll open up Churchill as they get prepared for the Kentucky Derby. No matter what it is you're doing for the rest of this day, Terry, we certainly hope that you have God's grace, the sun shines on you, and that no matter what you do, it ends up in our good friend Jay Marco's
Winner's Circle.
Absolutely. And we'll be mailing out the prizes from Hawthorne today. So we'll have a little bit about that on our social media. Keep an eye out for that. Look forward to joining everybody tomorrow. Thanks for joining on this Monday. Have a fantastic day.